Welcome to the calming investment world of Pzen. Well, good morning, my fellow Zenites. Did you check your Pzen wallet balance this morning with your coffee? It seems that the crypto world is getting more stressful every single day, except for those of you, of course, that are in the opportunity that is Pzen. So what exactly is Pzen? Well, let me just show you.
In these tumultuous economic times, it seems harder and harder to get ahead. Even though you have made all the right financial decisions, it's never enough. The problem is not you, it's the system. You see, the system is designed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. The only solution is to break free from this system. Today, you can join a new, growing economy and finally get ahead. This economy is built around a socially engineered token called Pzen, which is designed to redistribute wealth. The truth is that there is no scarcity of wealth. We just need a better redistribution system. Pzen harnesses the power of the eighth wonder of the world, compounding interest. Simply buy and hold Pzen in your wallet, and after each transaction made across the network, your token balance goes up. This is thanks to the pay it forward deduction, which takes 2% of every transaction and distributes it equitably to all Pzen holders. No one is coming to save you. This is the way out, but you need to do the work. You have to get educated. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to join the new economy to secure your financial future. Take control of your finances with Pzen.
So yesterday I was at a luncheon. You can see more details of that on my Twitter feed. And the interesting conversations were about money and finance. And the astonishing thing is that none of these guys had heard anything about FTX. They'd heard nothing about Alameda. They'd heard nothing about some no-bank fraudman, because it just isn't in their world. However, there is no doubt with the collapsing economy that everyone is going to be involved in DeFi in the very near future, because as the discussions ensued, guided by myself, they came to the conclusion that in fact everyone needs to have a proportion of their wealth, if you're wealthy, in cryptocurrency as a hedge, because you have to understand what is happening in the macroeconomic world right now. And one of the biggest indicators that we have is the inverse yield curve, where you have a look at the bond market. What the bond market is that the government comes to you and says, we need to borrow some money, give it to us, and then later on we'll pay it back with interest. And because it's the government, this should be the safest form of investment that there is, right? So the maturity dates for all these bonds vary. And the two most common ones that people look at are the 2-year bond and the 10-year bond. And normally a 10-year bond would pay slightly more interest than a short-term bond. But at the moment, we have an inverse in that a 2-year bond is paying more interest than a 10-year bond. Now, back through all of the financial annals, whenever that has happened, the economy has tanked. In a time span of about 12 months later, we are in recession. It is an infallible indicator of what is happening in the economy. It's all about risk and what people think is going to happen in the long term. So those indicators are all there. We all know that inflation is rampant and out of control. And even though the Fed says that they are going to soften their stance on interest rate hikes, they can't. because, well, they can, but they're not going to control inflation in that manner. Because to control inflation, they have to crash the housing market, they have to crash the stock market, and they have to crash the employment market. And we've seen employment figures just recently this week, and they're not doing a very good job there. On the other side of the fence, though, if they raise interest rates above 4.25%, the country can't afford to pay the debt. So they are in between a rock and a hard place. There's no doubt about that. But I think the end result is that yes, they may not raise the rates above 4.25 or 4.5%, but they are going to stay there for a very, very long time. And that is going to hurt the economy, which is what they want. So yes, they can say they're going to soften their stance by not increasing interest rates as fast or as high as they said they might do. But what they will do is they will keep them higher for longer, which will have the same effect. It'll just take a little bit longer. But there's no doubt in my mind that the recession is coming, if we're not already in recession, of course, and 2023 is shaping up to be a very, very challenging year. But the good news is that more and more people, and again, as I said at the end of this lunch, they all were coming around to the idea that actually we have a new economy. We have a new digital economy that everybody can partake of. Now, all these guys yesterday were extremely wealthy, so they didn't really care too much about what's happening with regard to, everyday life. But the stock market crash would affect them greatly. And they can see the sense and the indicators that go to show that the money printing is being turned off, and that interest rates, although they may not be as high as everybody thought they might be, they are going to be high for longer. That does affect their yield generation from the stock market. So they were very interested to learn about cryptocurrency, and in particular the opportunity that is Pzen that I've just showed you. So the future for decentralized finance is very, very bright. Obviously, the headlines at the moment are all centralizing around centralized finance. We've seen the names of Bernie Madoff and Enron and Ponzi scheme being bandied around right, left, and center with regard to cryptocurrency. But of course, what they're really talking about is centralized finance, where they're doing the same shenanigans and stealing your money in the same ways as they have done forever in traditional finance. We need to get rid of all that stuff and go back to the premise and the promise that the Bitcoin white paper gave us in 2008, and then Vitalik Buterin allowed us to have programmable money. We do have a way out, and it's up to you to actually go off and do your research and realize that this digital economy is available right now for everybody. Everybody can partake in the new digital economy. We've tried to make Pzen as accessible as we can to everybody. It is a very, very simple protocol. Basically, we adhere to the principle of the idea that is very, very popular with Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world. He's even described it as the eighth wonder of the world, compounding interest. And of course, Pzen, when you look into the code, that's exactly what it does. It is compounding interest on steroids, because your rewards get compounded after every single transaction. It is a phenomenal code. It is a phenomenal new digital economy that is growing by the day. And of course, the government is going to be pushing education about cryptocurrency themselves. Even though they're trying to legislate against it, they want everybody to adopt cryptocurrency in the medium of a central bank digital currency. I hinted yesterday that there are at least 200 governments around the world that are forging ahead with these projects. China has taken a massive lead with this. Their digital currency is already being foisted on their population. Being a communist government, they can do that. And they can say, you're no longer going to be able to use cash. You have to use our digital currency. And with that comes all of the bad stuff that goes with a digital currency. Vis-a-vis, they can control your life even more than they do now. Let's say, for example, that the US government or the UK government issues a central bank digital currency. They don't want to use cash anymore. They have complete control over your life. I mean, for example, let's say there's another lockdown and they say, well, you're not allowed to travel more than half a mile from your house to go and buy groceries, for example. So you jump in your car, you go 2 miles down the road to your nearest supermarket, and when you go to pay, you can't, because the government says, well, you've traveled outside of your restricted geofenced area. That is how scary central bank digital currencies could be. Now, the actual framework of how that's going to be foisted on the economy is not yet set in stone. So again, you really should be doing your research of how you could lobby your government member to make sure that the government doesn't take more control and do more surveillance of the population through a digital currency. It doesn't have to be like that at all. It is the rules that are built into it that are the most important. The utility of it promises a great future going forward, because everybody will have to be using digital currency and everybody will be educated, and they'll also be able to see the opportunity to join the new economy, the new digital network economy of decentralized finance. So that's my coffee morning rant this morning, and I look forward to seeing you on the live broadcast on Thursday. Excuse me, a few mosquitoes down here this morning, where we are going to be running the pulsator machine. And the pulsator machine, what that does is it spits out 3 names every week, and in this week's draw, the first name out of the hat is going to be getting 100,000 Pzen. The second name out of the hat, 200,000 Pzen, and then the third name out of the hat is going to win a cool 500,000 Pzen. So don't forget to register for that, pzen.xyz. I'll be doing another 1 hour live broadcast later on towards the end of the week, spitting some DeFi truth. And remember, every single day, all Pzen holders in their wallet get more tokens every single day. If you're not in this opportunity yet, go and check it out. The community is growing. The community initiatives are growing. Great things coming ahead, particularly in the new year. And I'm extremely excited to see the future of the Pzen protocol. I'm Conrad Zen, former Bitcoin Foundation member and evangelist for Pzen. I'll just say hello to a few people that have joined this morning so early. How are we all doing this morning? BC in the Matrix, good morning to you. C. Jones says, hi, and he's asking how do you register. All you have to do is, there's a link below the description of this video which will pop up. It's just pulsen.xyz. Just need to connect your MetaMask wallet and you're in. No purchase required. All the stipulations of a draw are being taken care of. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for my replay watchers as well. Thank you very much for tuning in for your morning rant with Conrad Zen. Anybody else wanting to say hello this morning? Let's see, something else has popped up. Crypto Kobe, good morning, my man. Hope you're doing very, very well. Thank you very much for moderating the Pzen Telegram community. Much appreciated, and I'm sure all the members appreciate your services there as well. So I'm off for another informative lunch today, where I will be espousing the benefits of cryptocurrency, and in particular, the Pzen opportunity. Bye for now. Thank you so much.